I think that's when the chemical is concentrated. You know, if it's stored on a pad at a well site, I think we really have to focus on the most likely scenarios. I don't dismiss the fact that there could be scenarios. I mean, I know historically we've seen instances where a well was being stimulated and there was an unknown abandoned well that wasn't properly abandoned near the well pad, and that served as a conduit. I mean, that's a more likely pathway for some of these chemicals to get into the groundwater, and so. But I think the state is concerned, and we do collect that information for that very reason. And I hope if in time if there is a better way to do it, I think this DEP would certainly support that. But in the meantime, the prime responsibility we're faced with is making sure that what's going on at the drilling locations is not affecting water supplies.
And that's also another reason why I stressed and brought up the record abandoned well plugging program. I think the responsibility should be on the operators to locate, through information we might have or their own efforts or some type of remote sensing technologies, any potential abandoned well that may be in the facility, because there have been some well-publicized cases when an operator is fracking a well, and a very old well that just happened to be in the same target formation. There can be some unintended but still realized communication between that new well and the old well. In some cases, it would be a fairly spectacular blowout where sometimes occasional shootout. Is that a good thing? No. We went back and we properly plugged the well. The other one, the industry did. So there are pathways that we need to address, and I can't emphasize that the amount of unknown abandoned wells out there that really need to be properly plugged. And that's one of the best things I think that our program does right now for the public is, we only plug 100 to 300 wells a year, but that's just because of the limited amount of contractors we had and money to do those wells. But that's what kind of keeps me up at night more, because I know they're out there and it's a known thing, and that's one of the larger work efforts that my division does.
All right, we have time for two more questions. Okay.
This is directed to about a week ago, we listened to public radio. Hillary Clinton was talking about the decline of our potable water. And as she talked, she went on to talk about the possibility of not too distant future of water wars, maybe throughout the world, different areas. In light of the fact that your industry that you promote has contaminated billions of gallons of water with chemicals that we can no longer ever use, and you're hauling them off to Ohio and shooting them down a well where they're causing earthquakes now, how do you justify that in your mind and in the industry that you represent's mind?
Yeah, well, first of all, two things. One is the amount of water, and I know people throw around a lot of big numbers, but the amount of water is very small. Because the amount of water that is used is a tiny fraction of what is used by other industries. For example, the SRBC has made it very clear in their materials for a long time that there's a lot less water used with drilling than there is with, for example, golf courses.
They don't poison golf course water, you jerk. Oh, just shut up. Just shut up. Really, just shut up. We don't believe your crap. I'm sorry. That's bullshit. I call bullshit. I'm sorry.
Let's please show some decent manners.
I want to make a second point. The second point is that when you combust methane, you also get water back. And that's another factor that goes into this in terms of the water cycle. And when you say that all this, all this contamination, what you're talking about is obviously the flowback water that comes back over time. And I would point out that I see the companies that we work with are at or near 100% of recycling. I know Tony says industry-wide that's not the case. He may
More bullshit. Bullshit.
Well, I know you want to shut me down by shouting over.
Well, stop lying and we'll let you talk.
Please, let's let him speak.
No, let's not.
Yes, a moderator, I'm in control, we get some things we say.
I really am.
You finished? Okay.
Good.
The solids from the recycling goes to landfills and after we take that out of the brine. And the landfills discharge into the Susquehanna River.
So Tom, are you finished?
Yes, sir.
And so do the drill cutters.
All right, Joe,
Done more.
this is the last question, Joe, Panzarella.
You just stated, my name is Joe Panzarella, and I'm a senior in the geography department. Graduating this semester, I'm sure my question fills out for a lot of people. With being in the geography and geosciences, the Marcellus Shale Coalition has really brought a lot of jobs to the area. And I hear people saying that they're driving young Pennsylvanians out of the area. And I just want to know, has there been any studies on how many jobs have actually been brought in to keep people here with the Marcellus Shale, and just pretty much the benefits outweigh the costs? Because I'm pretty much a green person like anyone else, but without money I really can't drink or eat, so.
Money is
kids?
water you can drink.
I'll just say the number of jobs, I think the best example is Bradford, Susquehanna County. You saw on the map, those are two of the counties that are probably most significantly impacted. There were 3,600 jobs created in the last 3 or 4 years there. Those are meaningful jobs. I know a number of the people that got those jobs, young people, a lot of them blue-collar people who wanted an opportunity to make a good living for their family. And that to me is what it's all about. And it is happening. And Bradford County has consistently had the lowest unemployment in the state, or near the lowest, because of what's happening there. You can say what you want about it, but it's making a lot of people's lives that were going kind of downhill go in a much better direction.
How many people from out of state?
How many of those workers came from out of state?
I'm asking the rest of the panel, anybody want to follow up with Tom?
I mentioned earlier, I'll repeat tonight, if you want what I consider to be reasonably rational, valid, data-based analysis, economic analyses, both pro, that is new, good, and bad, down. The studies that were just published earlier this week out of Penn State, I think Tim Considine is the principal author. Again, they're 2 years behind. They did a study up until 2010. And some of the analysis points out how many new jobs were created, how many jobs were brought into the counties, what the spending was, what the taxation was, what the personal income level did, up, down, what businesses thrived, what businesses died. So read good stuff. Don't count on blogs, especially anonymous blogs, for information.
Like concerned scientists.
I would like to thank everybody for coming out, and let's give a round of applause for our